Sure.
So do I have to cross that whole
I'm sitting at Burger King. Danny introduces me to a lot of people that come in. And I had a nice talk with Shirley. For a few minutes.
And your name is Caesar.
Yes, my name is
Caesar.
La Familia, I explain later.
Aye.
On the meantime, we're over here enjoying the
And
New Year's.
Yes, coming up.
Yes,
He's
yes.
38 years old.
And Shirley had a lot of questions about the Jehovah's Witnesses.
She's wonderful.
And
She said to him, "How's the
I
back?"
heard it. She's kidding Caesar because his name is Caesar. But Shirley had some good questions. I could have done a little teaching video just talking to Shirley. Somewhat about Jehovah's Witnesses. And I tried to explain to her some of the history. And I said some of the differences that they have. I taught it. I've taught all that before. So, being I'm back at the Burger King, it's cold today. It's Monday, almost noon, but it's cold, and so we're kind of walking.
Stay here long enough, you'll never go home with all these interesting people.
Yes, Danny. I never met Caesar before, or Shirley, but she's a sweet lady, and she had some questions. So we talked earlier when I was talking to Danny earlier today, and Jack, the cab driver, came in. We had a really good discussion on a lot of. Danny always brings up a verse. I remember it. He says, Daniel, the Old Testament prophet, he says, Daniel said, use a little wine for your stomach's sake. But I always correct Danny. I said, actually, the Apostle Paul said that. That's in the letter of Timothy. So Danny has some.
There's always songs and go on and on.
Fascinating for you to study. All about
Okay, Shirley, goodbye, honey.
Let me help you out with
God bless you, dear.
Wait a minute, I'll take those milks.
Yes, he saved. Danny saves
Waste
the
not, want
creams.
not, saith the Lord.
I gave
and
him
I'm an
mine the
atheist.
other day. Happy New Year. Thank you, Caesar.
for doing that for
Shirley,
us.
for being on my little video, hon.
Hey, you messed up my name.
Hopefully, I've never met
Quite
Caesar.
a study. Quite a
Yes,
study.
but Danny says
One of
Caesar
the
will
best
be
we've
worth.
had yet.
Now, some of the other conversation earlier today, I mentioned hopefully Abe, the older man, will come in, and I want you to meet
Better than
Abe.
Billy.
Abe is he's an older Jewish man he owns this property, the Burger King property itself. It's leased to
He's like a
real estate
hotel.
man.
This is how he's a free spirit. Oh no,
Yes.
his glasses in there.
Yes, no. If Caesar, I've not met Caesar, and Danny says he might have some
I
interesting
think
stuff.
you may be able to help him because he does need help. 38 years old. He's
Let's
38
see.
years
What were
old.
the other questions? Let me see what Danny.
Also, he sounds like Hispanic.
Yes, he sure does. And we talked about the issue earlier, some of the issues. Caesar, do you have any, what philosophy or questions?
Philosophy.
or-
He's got a lot of philosophy.
like things maybe you want to ask. I teach on, that's why I do these videos. I teach on whatever. People want to ask questions about religion or philosophy. I do philosophy. But do you have any
He's a
insights,
philosopher.
any questions that I might discuss? Sometimes people have questions.
Money.
Okay.
Money.
Ask
I
me.
like that. That's good.
I actually watched the Family Feud
Okay.
to learn what people are all about, 100 people.
Yeah.
It's not because of the game, it's what people in the whole entire States talking about. Like, what's your favorite food?
Yes.
What's your favorite stuff like that?
Yes.
And it's food for thought for my own.
Yes. You can learn
You
it.
learn new words. So I asked my mother, can I have a dictionary? She's like, wow, after 38 years old, now you want a dictionary?
You're learning.
There's words that I'm learning the dictionary, new words that I haven't learned yet.
Yes, actually,
On the
that's.
streets, I was homeless, actually.
I do homeless. I get a lot of
Yeah, for a
homeless
minute,
friends,
For a
Caesar.
while, right?
I was homeless for a while.
Yeah.
It was tough. My house was car boxes. You maybe even cash, you don't even believe the situation. Pneumonia caught up, of course. But it was tough.
Yes, I have a lot of
Again,
homeless friends, Caesar, and in Texas, That's kind of part of the ministry. Danny had the card that he gave to Shirley. And
Who's
then
Dan?
Me,
Danny.
Dan.
That's not his real name, though.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Why? Why do you
You gotta
say?
have to call the FBI on this one.
Why?
I
What
don't
did you
know
think
about
my
that.
name was?
No, we gotta call the FBI on this one.
Why? My name is
No,
Dan.
it's not that.
I will give you
No, I'm just kidding, Daddy.
there's a verse
It's
about,
the New Year's. Now you gotta change your name.
I will give you a
If
verse.
the FBI show up right now, if your name is
I'll
actually
give you a verse
really
about
Danny,
money.
Yes.
For the love
I
of
will
money
bet
is the
you-
root of all evil. Some
You know,
covered it after.
did you know I'm FBI?
He's retired.
You think I'm lying?
No,
Danny,
no, that's your ID. No, no guns, no guns, no guns.
No guns.
Oh, okay, I
I
thought you
actually
that
caught
millimeter
better on
side.
the other one, but that's okay. You're seeing a little
What
bit
does it
there.
say on the top?
Let's see over here.
What does it say?
Oh, that's Danny.
Special agent.
Yes.
Can I get a copy of that?
New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania.
Yes. I have.
Wow, amazing.
I have.
But
A,
I'm retired. 20 years. I'm retired.
I should show my fireman badge.
Man, can you? I'm a veteran.
He's
Me,
a veteran.
I'm a veteran,
Very good. So
too.
am I.
I was in the army.
So was
Oh.
I was in the
Wow,
Navy.
it's
No
kind
big
of like
deal.
a,
I was in the Navy.
I. He was in the Navy. John.
you like swimming?
I do actually. I live
Yeah, I
off
was
the
swimming
water.
real on my own. Swimming, it was kind of tough.
Now here's the
Can I
saying.
sit down
Yes,
for a
here's
minute?
the
I
saying
need to-
for today. You're
Sit.
gonna like this.
Oh yeah.
You can give fake blood, but you can't give fake money. You
He's
like
got,
that?
Danny's
Can
got
you
a lot
repeat
of.
that
I
again?
should just teach
You can
as
give
I'm sitting here.
fake blood. They can make blood fake,
I'm
but
gonna.
you can't give fake
Jack,
money. You can't do
who was
nothing
the
with
cab
fake
driver, who you didn't see on video,
That's the money. You like money. And here's another.
Jack said,
Like
Danny
boys,
had
I have to pay
introduced
money
Jack and said,
is the foundation.
Danny said,
the
Jack's an
rest of
atheist.
your
And
life.
Jack said, no, I believe in God, but not in,
Money.
you know, the
Your
traditional. And so I told Danny, well, that's sort of like a deist or a theist.
Think about that.
And
It's 'cause you mentioned
some of
you
the
like to
founding
hear about
fathers
money.
of our country
And I have these sayings.
held that view. Deism,
Yeah, it's very.
I could teach a little.
Yes, and it's very
Deism,
true.
I'm gonna
You can't do anything
teach a
without
little.
money.
Deism
It's the
was a
foundation
belief that
of
became
everything
popular at the
in your
time
life.
of lot, which I teach you on, the Enlightenment, the
Now,
Age
this
of
is gonna be a
Enlightenment.
test Friday. Take notes.
And in the 1700s,
You may do
1800s,
that if you want to, yes.
many of the thinkers and the
John
philosophers,
Here will
I'm-
help you tremendously.
many of the thinkers and
I
philosophers
guarantee it.
I gotta
were
take a
not
look.
You know where to
willing
go.
to
Yes.
totally
Yeah, don't
reject
go-
belief
don't
in
go
God.
into the table.
I'm a
Because that was
Don't go
considered
into
an
the table.
anti-intellectual. Go ahead, Caesar. I'm
gonna take the
teaching.
emergency.
It was an anti-intellectual understanding to reject all belief in God. So some of them, I'm teaching Danny, some embraced a view called deism, which meant they still believed in God, but they were rejecting the traditional faith of the church for many various objections. And deism and some of the founding fathers were deists and not Christians. In our founding documents, there's a term that many preachers misread.
Before he comes back,
Yes.
I'm just going to say this. He's going to be a hard nut to crack.
Oh, I just started
because
teaching.
every word out of your mouth, he don't hear.
Okay.
Observe that about him.
There's an
Every word out of
argument
your mouth, he don't get.
he doesn't get. Am I going to get the art paint? I got my card. Will I get my paintings? Should I put them
Yes,
in
you
the...
can do that now or whenever.
Maybe
before
today.
I go. Yes, and I have something for your mother and father. Your mother
And
a wife, not your father.
Danny's given me gifts before.
So and it's in the trunk right near your painting. So whenever you're ready, let me know. What about this guy? He hears you, but he doesn't listen to anything you say.
Okay.
That's a hard nut to, and he's 38 years old.
The,
Never worked a
the,
day in
when,
his life.
and the one verse, the one thing I was going to quote in the founding documents that says, the reference to God, it says, we believe these truths are self-evident. And when that term is used in our founding documents, because it's talking about a creator, it's talking about self-evident, that's actually, that came more from the deist influence on the founding fathers. And that it's a little technical, but those were saying they were rejecting historic traditional Christianity and said there are self-evident truths. And that some of that language is actually deism as opposed to historic Christianity.
Self-evidence and the deity is him.
Caesar, I've never met
Caesar
before.
is like-
He seems like an interesting person.
He's going to be terribly interesting.
And Abe,
When I say
he
terribly,
doesn't. Danny does not remember. Abe, the 100-year-old Jewish man who owns all the real estate here. They're going to do a documentary on Abe, but Danny didn't remember. But I did. Abe had told me. Abe fought as a partisan.
Oh yeah, he told me he got shot in the lip.
The partisans, they joined against. Were they fighting against the Russians,
Nazis.
the Nazis,
He was
but also
with the Russians.
he was with the Russians fighting against the Nazis.
And he got shot in the mouth.
But he was fighting out of Poland in the resistance.
Yes.
Abe also told me that he studied in one of the universities, I think Yeshiva University in Poland,
Yes.
and he studied a few years to become a rabbi. I'll never forget, though, he never became one. But Abe asked me when I had this discussion with him about the book of Esther. And me and Danny were discussing a little bit about the book of Esther. Esther was a famous book in Scripture, and she was Queen Esther. And it's a history that was going to be a Holocaust against the Jewish people by a wicked king. I think his name was Ahasuerus. But you have Haman and Mordecai mentioned in the book of Esther. And when me and Abe had the discussion a few years ago, he saw that I wasn't making it up because I mentioned about Esther, and I did a little teaching with Abe. So I wanted to get Abe on video. It's this is going a little long here. Danny, give me some what other questions? Now you thought the prophet Daniel in the Old Testament was the one who said,
About the little
drink a
wine
little
for your
wine.
stomach if you're having a little stomach problem.
okay, and I told Danny
I thought it
that's
was in the book of Daniel.
no. Paul wrote that, and that's in the book of Timothy.
There's nothing in the book of Daniel about drinking a little wine. for
Okay,
your
now
stomach.
I explained to Danny
Yeah.
in the book of Daniel, the diet of Daniel and his acquaintances was different. They were not going to eat, quote, the king's meat,
Yeah,
and they had a particular diet, a kosher diet that they observed, and so that's where the food is significant in the book of Daniel. Danny also thought that King David had a special gift of interpretation of dreams, and I told Danny actually that was Joseph who had that gift, but
David played the harp.
you find Daniel and Ezekiel, and you do find interpretations of dreams in the prophets, but King David was not known. Danny asked me, what is King David famous for? King David's famous for a passionate heart for God. There's a famous scripture that says he was a man after God's own heart, and David was a musician, and David wrote the majority of the book of Psalms, and the book of Psalms in the Old Testament were the song book for the children of Israel as they worship God. They sang songs.
I'm going to say something to Caesar you're going to like.
Go ahead.
You go to heaven.
Well,
I
yes,
need
go
your
ahead.
attention. You have to listen.
Yes.
You go to heaven for the
Danny.
climate. You go to hell for the company.
Some have said
Look at the
that.
face. Didn't even flinch.
No, it's just being
listening.
around with.
Yeah,
Now, what did I just say?
Yes, I understand you.
What did I just say?
it's like a little meeting.
No, hold on. Let me,
What did I
gotta
just say?
Yes.
sit the answer.
What did I
just
just
tell
say?
me that I'm gonna hold who you surround yourself with.
I said that. What was my exact quote?
That the individuals on planet Earth out of the universe,
You see my point? You go to heaven for the
I
climate.
remember.
climate. What do you mean climate?
It's nice
Temperature.
and cool. Temperature. You never heard the word climate?
My mother
The
told me all
climate
about it. I don't know about
outside.
the weather.
You see, he's not even listening now.
I am listening.
No, you're
He's
not.
listening.
The climate outside is a little chilly, cold, isn't it?
Is it my?
A lot
Okay,
of
continue.
a lot of the discussions.
What did I just say?
Just be
The
quick.
climate
Is see, you can't finish the sentence.
is.
Yeah.
The
Can you
maybe
finish
the
this
captain.
sentence? I'm going to say it again. You go to heaven for the climate, you go to hell for the company. Can you repeat that?
You go to heaven with the climate, you go to hell with the company.
For the
Ah,
company.
there's an improvement.
So can I get corporal now?
Can you get corporal now? What's corporal?
When I was in the army, I was a private.
A corporal.
Okay.
No, I'll make you sergeant. After all,
For
you
real?
are Caesar.
Yes.
He is Caesar already.
That's
You
all.
see?
Yes.
You see my point?
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Are you gonna ask me a question?
well,
Continue.
I might. Yes.
Ask me everything you wanna know
The
about my
Caesars,
life.
the Caesars from the old Roman Empire. This is
Continue.
where Caesar Augustus comes from.
Yes.
And the Caesars from the old Roman Empire, during the fall, this is a little history here, the Roman Empire in the West fell about in the 6th century, in the 500s. The Roman Empire in the East, which is called Constantinople, which is modern-day Istanbul, Turkey.
You already forgot everything you said.
That's all right, I'm going to get to a
No, you
point.
can you
But-
don't understand my.
But the Russians...
But you already like
Yes,
a
The
witchcraft
Russians-
stuff.
Yes.
The Russian,
Okay, you're good.
the Russian
You're good.
Russian Orthodox Church
Yes.
believed that their picking up of Christianity was a restoring of Rome, and the reason the czars were called czars in Russia was it came from the term Caesar.
Caesar.
And they
yeah.
tried to say
There
that
he
they
is
were
sitting
correct,
right
and that
there.
this is Caesar. So that's a little.
He knows
I
everything.
mix something in with
And
Caesar.
then-
Don't get
Every-
me going. No religious stuff right
No,
now. Let
no,
me
no.
enjoy my last
Yes.
days of my last year.
I'll
please.
tell you.
I want you to
I'll tell
anything
you
you want
who
to ask.
you are. This is about the army. A woman went to see her son graduate from boot
We're going
camp. We were in
wrong.
the army, right?
I
You
could've
remember
taught a
boot
lot
camp?
today.
Fort Knox in the
Yes.
gold capital of the world. Continue.
So they're all marching in front
Caesars. Got
at
it?
the end of boot camp.
Russian
And she
czars
says, "Look at
took
Melvin,
the term
my
czar,
son. He's the
from
only
Caesar,
one in step.
believing that
Everybody
Russian
else was out
Orthodoxy,
of step.
Christianity, and the
the only
Russian
one
expression
in
of it was a restoration.
You
That's
don't
what
get
they
that.
held to.
Yeah,
Of
Deep.
the church,
It is very deep.
And they
for me.
called- they
Think
referred to
everybody else,
Moscow
John, myself, that
as
guy
the
down
new
there
Rome.
is out of step.
And so,
So your name
a
is
little
myself?
history.
You are in step. That's
Okay,
what you
I think
believe.
I'll end the video. I've
You're the
not
only
run
one
into
in step.
anybody, but you saw a
If
little
you're the only one in
interaction.
step,
Okay,
then
it's Monday. It's
then
about noon,
how-
and
how
I'll
could we
update
be
these
out of
a little
step?
bit
We're
throughout
in
the day.
step
God
and you're
bless
out of step.
everybody.
but you don't